Jackson.
Hi.
Byron is here as always. What you drinking for this race, Byron?
Currently we're enjoying a delightful combination of lime Perrier, lime wedge, and white lightning.
White Lightning. Please explain to anyone who may not know what that is at the moment.
50% raw alcohol and 50% squirrel blood.
Cool.
Probably not accurate on that last one, but it's got some kick to it.
We are racing the Audi TT RS cars here today, and we have a field of 19 drivers who are going to take to the battlefield and try to come out on top. Do you have any early predictions, Mr. Byron?
I think the guy with the purple is probably going to win.
All right, he's going with Mr. C, Mr. Andre Bogdan.
Well, not necessarily him, but I mean anybody who shows up purple on the list.
And just going with anyone who takes pole rate, basically?
Yep. Anybody with wheels and like an engine probably has a shot. You want to do good, so you try and do good. You give it 110%. Coach said we need to go into the corners a little bit more and dig at them there hubcaps, and so we're trying to do that and play gritty. And we just all come together. We just need a little time to gel as a team.
Do you have any comments about the STD that's making its way around the locker room?
I cannot confirm nor deny, but I can confirm.
It's not the line.
I don't remember the line.
The line is, it's sometimes it's a dirty game, and sometimes somebody's got to end up wearing it.
I forgot that, yeah.
For those who are unaware of what we're commenting, go check out on YouTube the Letterkenny guys doing hockey interviews. It is the most. It is exactly what it looks like in the NHL, with the completely uninformative answers that every player gives.
Yep.
To the race topic at hand, we have a number of the best drivers in ESR here today, although notably absent is championship leader Taha Mali. Not here to try to defend his championship lead. In fact, now that I look at this, the top 3 guys in the championship are all missing. Because there's no Vangelis Parginus. There's no Nikos Papamihail. The Greek Freaks are not here. The Moroccan Terror is not here. What has become of our lovely international race league?
Actually, I had my boy Nico help me out with pronunciation of one of those particular names, and now I'm trying to find it. Yes, it's Vangelis Parginos.
So
that's how you pronounce it.
Vangelis Parginos? Am I getting that right?
Not even close. It's not Van Halen anything.
I didn't say Van Halen.
Vangelis Parginos.
Vangelis.
Not Vangelis.
Vangelis.
Not Van.
Vangelis.
Vangelis.
V-A. This is as close as it's getting, sir. I refuse to pronounce Greek names correctly.
You are atrocious.
I am terrible. He's not complained about it, though, so I'm not really worried.
If his name's not Bogdan, you don't even care.
That's not true. I care about Mirkos and Darkos and Drazens.
It's Felcher.
Peja. Vladdy.
You leave Vladdy out of this.
Wally Zerbiak.
You leave Vladdy out of this. Those friggin' Turks had it coming.
Actually, in fairness, Vladdy's doing a bang-up job as an executive with the Sacramento Kings right now.
Oh, very nice. Well played.
They're actually maybe going to make the playoffs this season. Go figure.
First time in their friggin' history.
It's been a while. They actually had the longest playoff drought of any team, with the Minnesota Timberwolves making it last season.
I am not. I am Jack's complete lack of surprise.
They stunningly have made the playoffs since Chris Webber left the team, but only once. And it was like the year directly after that, led by Peja Stojakovic.
Peja Stojakovic is pretty good at the basketball.
Also, Sacramento Kings at one point, the whitest starting lineup in the NBA with Vlade Divac, Peja Stojakovic, and J. Will, White Chocolate.
Dang, White Chocolate was the shit.
White Chocolate was the shit. Not, a case of a guy whose numbers don't really indicate how good he was.
Yeah, well, I think he was mostly an unselfish player who just wanted to win, so he just went out there and facilitated as much as possible. And I don't even think, I think if you look at his record, you'll find his assists don't really match what he brought to the table.
Yeah, I don't think so. And he wasn't a spectacularly good defender or anything, so there's nothing really there on paper that makes out. But anyone who saw him play remembers just how good he was.
Yeah, if you want some shiny stuff to watch, YouTube, Jason Williams highlight package, just give it.
Absolutely. So we have 5 minutes left in qualifying here. Mr. C currently leading by a very little, actually, 0.008 of a second over Fran Machuca. And then it's Gerardo Del Valle, Travis Wallace, Felipe Fejea. Hey, Felipe! Doing really well. Eric Friesen, John Barker, Ariel Zatoni, Richard DeRoche, and Alex Laffer are your top 10. We have yet to see lap times from John Pacheco, Martin Edmonds, Dale Smith, Caleb Gonzalez, or James Butler. Oh, as I was saying that, actually, John Pacheco comes across the line in 15th position. So we got some work to do. 19 cars, despite the 15 being shown before you right now. And I'll turn this over to Byron for a little bit while I load up the stream and see how we're doing.
Well, everybody, what you got to know here is that Wayne Hutchinson is sandbagging like a motherfucker. He gonna tear everybody's butthole apart and spread them cheeks and then go all the way to the thing and score the touchdown. And he's gonna do it all in third gear. That's how that's gonna work. I did notice somebody was driving for the pro handicap team. I understand that I probably made jokes about that before, and it'll happen again.
We most certainly did make jokes about this before, and we will have to find new material.
No, I'm not going to even bother. I mean, I don't remember what the original material was, so I'm definitely using it again.
It has been a month since we covered this series. So that's the problem. The ESR Enduro race happens on the last Saturday of every month. That's how that works. It briefly intercedes the GT2 championship that we've been covering every other week. Other than that, big news today. First ever Academy race went down. Congratulations to Adele Facali and to Noel Khan, who were your race winners. And I believe I believe they are actually co-championship leaders because I think they finished first and fourth in just the reverse races. So interesting battle going on there. Notably, Josiah Jerome would have been a championship contender, I think, early on. But his monitor apparently fell over during the race, and he had to stop and fix that. It was a bit of a thing. He posted fastest lap from 9th place. So congratulations to the Academy
judicious
guys.
Usage of zip ties.
Indeed. Congratulations to the guys in the Academy. We will be covering that race either tonight or tomorrow, depending on how the scheduling goes on the matter. And how late this takes us, because this is going to be a long race, my friend.
Oh, well, I should probably slow down the drinking slightly. But I won't.
Let's be completely honest. No one's here for you to slow down the drinking.
Welcome to Sober Podcast with Super Sober Byron. Yeah, it's not.
You know what? I hazard a guess that I don't even know what Sober Byron is like. I think think this is a figment of your imagination. It's kind of like non-racist Chris. It doesn't really exist.
I mean, that's true.
Anyways, the grid is starting to take shape as Dale Smith has put up a lap time. We've seen Caleb Gonzalez back in 16th place. I would not have predicted that before we went on the air. Caleb is, of course, the all-time leader in race wins for ESR, so to see him so far down the grid is, I hazard to say, alarming. Big shout out to Dale Smith down at 17th place, but we had an interview with him on the podcast. I thought it was really, really good. Did you review the podcast today, Byron?
I did not. I didn't have time myself. I basically got up, went to work, came home, and now I'm here.
Okay. Well, we had an interesting interview with Dale J. Smith, who is in this race currently in 17th place on the grid. And he makes sim rigs as a side business. We talked to him about that. We talked to him about his 3-generation deal, where he started racing with his granddad and his dad, and now helps his stepson race as well. So big family tradition. And we have our grid. Mr. C has taken the pole position by about a half second over Fran Machuca. Gerardo Del Valle will start third with Travis Wallace on the second row, Felipe Ferrer and Richard DeRoche, row 3. Row 4, Martin Edmonds and Eric Friesen, all Canadian. John Barker and Ariel Zatoni, row 5. Alex Loeffler and Lucas Molesky, row 6. Row 7, Andy Blade and Wayne Hutchinson. Row 8, Joaquin Janju and Caleb Gonzalez. And at the back of the pack, Dale Smith, John Pacheco, also on the grid but did not set a time, James Butler, who will start from the back of the grid. I actually managed to get the entire grid done before it went to get ready.
Done.
There we go.
I was going to interrupt and ask if you find out if Mr. Dale J. Smith has a brother named Chip.
He does not, I do not believe. But that would be a dream.
Well, can we call him Chip?
You'd have to ask him about that because you know what? He's kind of got me buttered up. Like there may be a rig in my future from Dale J. Smith.
Whoa!
So, yeah.
Made out of the purest popsicle sticks known to man, and Elmer's wood glue.
He has earned himself nothing but praise from the commentary team. This is like Jeremy Clarkson when Ford was talking about giving him a Ford GT here, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
I did not get a beverage before this started. I'm going to regret that.
You idiot. Run now. I can totally do the start.
No, we got it.
It's going to be chaos.
We're getting ready to go off here at the start. I don't know.
Chaos.
Suzuka's a reasonably friendly start track. I don't think we're going to see any tremendous, interesting violence off of the start. But here we go. The commentary names got turned off. I will fix
Why
that.
would you do that?
It did it automatically.
Have you
can't help it.
betrayed me?
I cannot help that it turned it off when the session changed.
Betrayal.
So Scout. Shout out to Scout, the Raceroom spectator guy. That would be something to fix. Felipe Ferrer in the Oakley car in 4th position, doing a fantastic job. Love that car actually. It's very sexy. Not the handicap car here in 2nd place of Gerardo Del Valle, but very nice. So Mr. C has retained the lead off at the start as Gerardo Del Valle up into 2nd place ahead of Frank Machuca. I missed something there, and it is Eric Friesen tumbling down the order.
Tumbling towards victory.
What happened, Byron, to Mr. Eric Friesen?
Well, there was an abrupt right turn, and then bad things. I didn't see exactly. He was part of a pack, and then, or my depth perception was bad, and then suddenly he was making a dramatic right turn, and he may or may not have been pit maneuvered, but I can't prove that.
Cannot prove or deny the statement of these facts, and it is going through. So it's interesting. You've got the older version of the Racing Spectator. The new version came out 1.7, and we saw some different things. So he's definitely done some tweaking on the algorithms as to what gets shown. That's very intriguing.
Well, I didn't know there was a new one because nobody tells me these things.
You know what? It actually should have popped up with an alert when you booted it up, actually. So that's interesting.
Well, it didn't
do that. We'll figure that out later. Ariel Zatoni running in 9th position in the Moeller Bill car. Moeller BIL. He is trailing John Barker for position, and they're just ahead of Alex Loeffler. He's doing a very good job. Andy Blade is up to 11th place from starting, I want to say he was like 13th on the grid or so. So moving forward a little bit like a blade through butter, but not quite a hot knife through butter. Oh, there you go. Caleb Gonzalez is on the charge. He is making a move here on Andy Blade, trying to go down the inside into turn 1. Blade is currently holding the position. Very confusing because they have identical cars.
Somebody's gonna die.
Caleb is going for it. Oh! Caleb lost control of the car.
That is negative good.
We now ride with Ariel Zatoni, who's on the back end of John Barker here. Martin Edmonds just up ahead of him in 7th position. And things are still pretty tight together. Eric Friesen is down a lap, though. I think we may have lost him. We have also... Yeah, he is indeed off the track. And we've lost somebody else because we're down to 17 cars running. I'm not sure who it was, though, that we lost. Not recognizing any names that are absent from the grid. Not sure. Anyways, Travis Wallace, by the way, in 6th place, and flicking in and out with a bad connection by the looks of it. We ride on board with Joaquin Janju who's on the tail of James Butler. James Butler did not qualify for this race, and he's in 13th position, so having a pretty decent race, considering... Oh, no, I may have just jinxed him. He went way off the track.
Oh, it was Maluski. Maluski's off.
Well, we've lost Lucas Malevsky.
Yep.
Okay.
Was it Malevsky? My bad.
Oh, I think it's Malevsky. Richard Derksecchi running in 5th position on the tail of Felipe Fea. Felipe having a great race. Fantastic.
Go, Felipe. Yeah, apparently Lucas's machine crashed, so he wishes everybody a good race, which they won't have because they're all very bad and just terrible, terrible people.
That's very harsh.
But funny.
Significantly harsh. I should check out Eric.
Except for Dale J. Smith. He is a wonderful human.
Dale J. Smith is an amazing human being. That's all there is really to that. We're going to have to check in on Eric Friesen here real quick because he appears to be in the pit lane.
Life in the pit lane.
Sadly, it looks like he is retired from this race. His car is not moving or being serviced in the pit lane in any way. Either he's called it a day or the damage from that incident on lap 1 was significant enough to force him into retirement.
I agree.
Action continues here as a battle between Derksecchi and Fahea over 4th position. Mr. C is pulled out to a 2-second lead over Gerardo Davea. There will be pit stops in this race, of course. This is an hour-and-a-half long race, 90 minutes around Suzuka, which is, it's no 24-hour race, I'll be honest, but it's, it'll test you.
Well, I mean, truly, if you're smart, you just have extra tires with you in the back seat and just reach out the window and slap them on there.
It's a lot of weight and a lot of interesting ideas to try to make that happen.
Yeah, but then you can throw the old tires at anybody behind you.
This is not Mario Kart.
Why not?
There is no blue shell iron.
Damn it!
The blue shell always seeks out the lead car.
That'd be a funny April Fool's joke.
Incorporating the blue shell into this game. Intriguing. Richard Derksecchi is still caught up here behind Felipe Fahea, but this is pretty much the battle going on right now. Travis Wallace right behind them and Martin Edmonds actually are also quite close. Further down in the field, Caleb Gonzalez is catching back up to Andy Blade after his off. And Dale Smith putting the pressure on John Pacheco and has indeed made a move into 16th position. A lot of smoke coming off of the brakes here from these cars. Heavy braking zones. We had that in the Audi TT race earlier today with the Academy drivers, which will be coming up on YouTube before the end of tomorrow. So there you go. Pressure is on here as Derksecchi is in a fierce fight with Felipe Fahea over 4th position. Very close to him. Suzuka does have a number of reasonably good overtaking opportunities into heavy braking zones. So if you can outbrake your opponent, there is a good chance of getting past. So that's what Richard's going to be looking to do. Also, everyone's looking for a big haul of points here today because, as stated, the top 3 men, the 3 podium finishers from round 1 at the Nürburgring are not here, which is just kind of like an amazing deal, frankly, that we're looking at this fight that could claim a new championship leader just like that. In fact, I would say definitely will, because Taha Mali will not retain the championship lead coming out of this race.
That's what you think. He's just waiting in the stands and he'll come across the line first.
Boom! He takes the win out of nowhere. It's like that cheating guy during the marathon.
Yeah.
Travis Wallace has lost a spot to Martin Edmonds. Martin Edmonds, you know, if you ever need a recipe for tire soup, Martin Edmonds is the guy to talk to.
Correct.
That man liquefies rubber like you would not believe. James Butler fighting off an attack there from... Oh no, he lost a spot actually, I think, to Wayne Hutchinson. So Hutchinson coming through the grid. Really impressive run so far from Caleb Gonzalez, up from 16th to 10th. He has claimed a spot over Andy Blade. And it looks like Alex Loeffler's heading off because he's dropped from 10th to 12th. And he wasn't particularly close to those guys, so I assume he's made a mistake somewhere along the line. Felipe Fahea has created a little bit of separation to Richard Derksecchi. and appears to be okay for now. Travis Wallace putting the pressure on Martin Edmonds. There you see his fastest lap of a 2:09.778, and the pressure continues between those two cars.
So I'm just scrolling down Discord a little bit, and Taha Mali is online and playing Raceroom, so I don't know, like, what kind of schedule he's got right now, but it's interesting. Not to out anybody, but I'm just doing that.
Not to out anybody, as he just, outs people.
Indeed.
Maybe a scheduling conflict. Maybe couldn't get in before the server started, of course. That could be another thing.
These are all possible things, but I like to think that he is actually racing, but invisibly.
Oh, you think he's got some kind of cloaking technology?
Yes, he is literally Wonder Woman.
I was going with a Klingon thing, but yeah, Wonder Woman works too.
You saying he's got a forehead deformity? I was just
I'm saying that he has a proud warrior-like culture. That it involves a lot of excessive drinking and tremendous alcohol tolerance and decisions made in nothing but the purest of honorific ideas.
Listen, I don't think he's related to me at all, so, you need to calm down.
Are you suggesting you are a Klingon?
Maybe. You haven't seen my forehead. Oh, wait, yeah.
I haven't seen your forehead. It's very not Klingon. Maybe original series, but not the next generation.
Well, I'm an albino Klingon. I've had some work done.
There was actually an albino Klingon in one DS9 episode. So.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah. They called him literally the albino.
Ah.
It was an interesting storyline where Kor, Koloth, and Kang went hunting for revenge against the albino Klingon, and they got Dax to come with them.
Neat.
There was a big
white whale.
There was a big ass fight for the killing of the white whale, basically. Yeah, their Moby Dick, as it were.
Neat. But was Ducat involved?
There was no sign of Mark Almino's Ducat, unfortunately.
That sucks.
Ducat, one of the greatest sci-fi villains of all time.
Correct. And turned out not to be totally a bad guy, but he is totally a bad guy.
He's totally a bad guy. It goes 100%. It goes through little phases of him showing some humanity, but yeah, in the end, definitely a bad guy. The whole Pa Wraith thing kind of sealed his fate in that regard.
I don't know what that means, but I agree.
They were like the devils of the Bajoran religion, sort of like fire demon kind of thing that he allied himself with and tried to let into our world. It got weird at the end. That
sounds weird.
Yeah, DS9 is a great show during the Dominion War arc until the very end when things get really weird. But it has Garrick in it. That's really all that you need to say on the matter.
Correct. I also need to go back and watch some Babylon 5.
Babylon 5 was fantastic. Shadow Wars and everything.
I've seen all the movies because somebody got me the movies, so I've seen all of those. But I have not watched the actual show.
Mr. Garibaldi, I understand that you would not have begun this conversation if you didn't already know the answers you were looking for. So let us just skip to the point where you have made your brilliant deduction, and I ask, what can I do for you?
Oh, Londo.
No, that was your car.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah. Although Londo also great. My favorite personal Londo scene is he invites Lord Rifa to the station, and Lord Rifa takes a drink, and he's like, why on earth would I do you this favor? Because you are a patriot to our people, you value the survival of our race, and, most importantly, I have poisoned your drink.
I thought your favorite scene was the head on the stick one.
The head on the stick is also very good. Also very, very good. What would you like, Mr. Kodo? I would like to walk past your head on a stick while I wave jovially at it. Veer. That's my favorite Veer, though. That doesn't really have much to do with Londo.
Okay.
I mean, if we're going with favorite scene altogether, oh man, that's a tough call. It's the stuff with the guy who thinks he's King Arthur is pretty freaking great.
That does sound pretty amusing.
He thinks that Jakar is one of the knights of the Round Table. It's amazing.
He's not?
He's like, there were many men like you around at the round table. Well, they didn't have the eyes. Jakar, like, exceptionally... Oh, whoa, fight here. Richard DeRoche going for the move there on Felipe Fajea. But it does not work out in the end for the time being. But you got to think Richard's got the speed to get this done. Last time around, he was... they're running about the same lap time, but I think it's because he's right up behind him. In terms of fastest lap, he's about 0.2 faster than the car ahead of him. But this battle for fourth place, I think, will continue for a while. Martin Edmonds has lost a spot to Travis Wallace, so Travis Wallace back up in his 6th position.
Who does Travis Wallace drive like?
Like Travis Wallace.
Correct.
In the meantime, Caleb Gonzalez has continued his charge through the grid. He's up to 9th place, having made a move on Ariel Satoni. And at the front, Mr. C is now leading by 7.5 seconds over Gerardo Del Vea, who is got Fran Machuca relatively close for company, but nothing terribly urgent about that battle for 2nd place. And this fight continues on. I was going to finish my story, but I think we might have a fight going on, or a moment coming up here. We'll wait till the end of this turn, because there's a prime overtaking location coming up here. A basically flat out hard left-hand turn. Very exciting, and when you get it right, it's incredibly rewarding. Richard got a little bit too much of the curb there. Unfortunately, upset the car a little bit. But anyways, to finish off the story...
Finish the fucking story!
To finish off the story, so Jakar, they got into a fight with some bandits who stole who were trying to extort money out of an older lady down in, like, the kind of crappy section of Babylon 5.
Mm-hmm.
And they beat them up because Jakar came and rescued King Arthur, basically. And then he's, like, drunk off his ass going, "That was a fight! They were the bad guys! We were the good guys! It was simple! There was no subterfuge!" Richard DeRoche, by the way, going off the track there, unfortunately.
No, Richard DeRoche.
He's like, they were the bad guys, we were the good guys, and that's all there was to it. It was a great fight. So that was fantastic work in general. And of course, there's the great line of only one human captain has ever survived a fight with a Bimbari battle group.
Yeah.
He is in front. He is behind me. You are in front of me. If you value your lives, be somewhere else.
Correct.
So Caleb has gotten past Ariel Zatoni and is now on the attack against John Barker here for 7th place. Caleb coming from 16th on the grid. He has climbed an amazing, 8th place. He's climbed 8 spots already. Fantastic job from Caleb Gonzalez there in the red and white Audi. Identical livery to Andy Blade, who's back in 11th place. Andy having a pretty solid race as well, to be honest. And pressure is on here. It looks like Felipe Fajea is just not able to really keep the pace up because Travis Wallace and Martin Edmonds are right all over the back end of him and looking for a way past. Richard DeRoche has recovered to 10th place, by the way. Look for him to charge back through the grid somewhat because he was running solidly in the top 5. Definitely has some pace.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5th. Drive like Mrs. Wallace?
I mean, he might drive
because
like
Travis Wallace don't like to be fucked by anybody but Mrs. Wallace.
Indeed. Mrs. Wallace. Uma Thurman. Yeah. There's a Stargate joke in that whole thing. Celestial bodies. Yeah. Answer, Uma Thurman. A little bit of pressure here from Martin Edmonds on Travis Wallace. Did he make the overtake? It appears that we're going to go with the Caleb Gonzalez fight with John Barker instead. It looks like Wallace has lost the spot to Edmonds. We're going to go back and have a look at that real quick here.
Oh, little tap. Mr. Barker got a little tap on the way past.
He did, but it looks like he's held it. Gonzalez has got 7th place, and this battle for 4th is heating up because Martin Edmonds is all over the back end of Felipe Fajea. Travis Wallace is all over the back end of Martin Edmonds. So this is going to get real interesting real quick, I think. In the meantime, Caleb Gonzalez's next target is this group, actually, so look for him to try to climb up onto the back end of this because we know Caleb is insanely fast and is only about 2.4 seconds behind this fight, so he might be here faster than you think. Andy Blade putting the pressure on Richard DeRoche in a battle for 10th place there as well. Meantime, at the front, because we've paid very, very little attention to the top three, Mr. C now leads by 6.2 seconds, so the gap is closing to Mr. C from Gerardo's standpoint, but he also just lost 0.8 of a second on that last lap, so I think Mr. C is more than able to put a fast lap in if he needs to. His best lap of this race is a 2:07.9. No one else is close to that. The next fastest lap is 2:08.7. So we're talking 0.8 of a second a lap that Mr. C could probably pull out nearly at will, it seems. Just fantastic race car from the Belgian driver. Or the Belgian-Romanian hybrid driver.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure that's the Romanian flag.
Yeah, but he also lived in Belgium for a time, so it's kind of a hybrid.
Well, I happen to live in
I was joking that he's
dead for 8 months.
I was joking for he's ESR's Michel Herc, who's a driver who was born in Romania and adopted by a very wealthy Belgian man, and hopefully that hopefully that went in no way sexual.
Indeed, yeah, he was air quote adopted when he was like 23.
No, like when he was very young, and then said gentleman financed his racing career for actually a fairly long time. Although he did retire a couple of years ago to focus on his studies when it just became kind of obvious that he wasn't a Formula One talent.
He is Formula 19 at best.
He got up to GP2, which is basically the step below Formula One. Now it's actually called Formula 2, by the way. Great work by the FIA of finally deciding, hey, the series below Formula 1 should probably be just Formula 2 instead of like Formula 3000 and GP2 and all these other things it's been called over the years. It's kind of ridiculous in that regard. So now there's Formula 1, Formula 2, Formula 3. It's nice and linear. It's nice. Felipe made a mistake there. And he loses 2 spots there. And now Caleb is prowling up behind him as if to say, I smell blood in the water, sir.
He's got paella all over his face.
The great white shark known as Caleb Gonzalez is coming for you. So Martin Edmonds is up to 4th place. How much? What are you betting Martin's tires are looking at this point?
Well, I see sparks coming out of his car, so I think maybe they might be a little rough.
Might be a little bit problematic. Oh, very wide.
Also, he
there.
keeps.
Very
that's
wide.
like the second time I've seen him slide off there.
Yeah, very wide there. I mean, that's a turn that you tend to slide at, but that's a bit much. Felipe trying to hold off Caleb Gonzalez for now. You see a little bit of puff of smoke from the brakes of one of the cars up ahead of them. Rounding off the top 10, it is still John Barker, Ariel Zatoni, and Richard DeRoche. Andy Blade is actually sticking with Richard DeRoche, so doing a very good job here at this junction of the race. We are down to 16 cars with the losses of Eric Friesen, Lucas Malevsky, and who else did we lose?
Dave.
There
From accounting.
There was no Dave.
I don't know.
But do
I
you
can
know
barely
how
keep
to
two
do
names
you
straight.
know how to read?
Never learn how.
There's just no way I can win this match. And the worst part of it is, I never learned to read. Wrestling fans are lost right now.
Correct.
Caleb Gonzalez putting all the pressure on Felipe Feje here for 6th place. But has there been a moment of this race where Felipe's not been under immense pressure?
Well, there was that point right before they started.
Oh, we lost Joaquin. That's the other car we're missing.
He's Joaquin on sunshine.
It looks like, as has been the case with him, unfortunately, the car has let him down here today.
Damn you, digital mechanics! That man is a saint!
He absolutely is, and there's nothing you can say to change that.
I'm still waiting for you to make a mad dash for a beverage.
I mean, don't tempt me.
I'm tempting you. You're being tempted. My beverage is delightful. It's cool, refreshing, intoxicating.
I expect
delicious.
nothing less.
And
I'm
while
a
you're
little
gone, I'll
surprised
say
that
horrible words
Caleb
and stuff.
hasn't made a move to get past Felipe yet, because he's not normally the most patient of drivers. Tends to be the type of guy who you present him with an opening and he'll pounce. And he has not done so as of yet. I'll tell you, the guy who I've been a little bit disappointed with the performance of so far is Alex Loeffler. He's running in the top 10 for a while. Made some kind of mistake and has not really been able to make a tremendous comeback since then. Still about 9 seconds off of our good friend Andy Blade. In the meantime, up at the front, it's almost a 10-second gap from first to second place as the battle there for the win. It's not really been much of a battle, to be honest, here today. But we are having it.
I heard Gerardo's going to put sugar in his gas tank in the pit.
So beware anyone approaching Mr. C's car in the pit lane. They may not be in his pit crew. Ariel Zatoni and Richard DeRoche having a scrap. It looks like DeRoche's gotten the better of that for now. That was for 9th place. And it looks like Dale Smith has made his way up to 14th. I think he got past Wayne Hutchinson there. This battle for 4th and basically 4th through 7th continues. Felipe and Caleb dropping a little bit back off that. Looks like Travis Wallace and Martin Edmonds having a little bit of a gamble. Here comes Travis. Here comes Travis Wallace. He's going up the inside. Oh! A little bit of contact there, but for now, Mr. Edmonds hangs on to the position. We ride on board the cockpit of Travis Wallace because I feel like there's an opportunity here. So we're going to stick with him for a little bit of this lap here. Caleb Gonzalez, you can see in the back mirror there, putting the pressure on Felipe Fejea. So if something goes down there, we can also catch that. So that's nice. Caleb is maybe going for it, so I'm going to switch over there real quick. Caleb Gonzalez putting the pressure on. No movement further back, although Ariel Zatoni is starting to climb all over the back of John Barker.
Giggity.
A little bit of contact there between Felipe and Caleb. Caleb's still going for it! Oh! That's what I was talking about there with the great white shark analogy. Caleb will go for that gap, and it didn't work out this time, and nearly ended in tears, but that's the aggressive driving that we have come to expect from the Peruvian driver.
Rather that it ends in beers rather than tears.
That would be preferable, and it rhymes, so you can put it in a rap.
We should totally form a band and call it Tears for Beers.
Tears for Beers? I like it. I like
it. Everybody wants to... Oh, no, that's not the right song.
I mean, I was always going to go with us forming a band called Ukraine Freight Train, but this is me.
I mean, that's probably, yeah, Last Train to the Gulag.
Last Train to the Gulag. Our great hit Trey with one peck.
Correct.
That was probably Trey Tellingman's, like, the moment where people thought Trey Tellingman was going to be something, was that fight.
Which fight?
Igor Vovchanchin versus Trey Tellingman, when Trey Tellingman beat Igor.
I don't remember that happening.
That was in Pride.
Nope, never happened. Nobody ever beat Igor.
Plenty of people did.
Igor undefeated?
Including Kaznak.
Oh yeah, that's sad.
In the meantime, we got a pretty good battle going on here for 8th place. John Barker just ahead of Ariel Zatoni, Richard DeRoche, and Andy Blade. The fight is on there. Very interesting line there by Zatoni through that section of the track there in the Moeller car, the Moeller Bill car, the blue, red, and silver entry. In the meantime, fights are going on pretty much everywhere, but I'll tell you where a fight's not going. It's back over 10 seconds between 1st and 2nd place. No one else has come near the 2:07.9 set by Mr. C earlier in this race. That is still 0.8 faster than anyone else has gone. Having a fantastic race here today is the Romanian driver.
You can do it.
but good battles a lot of the place. Fastest lap last time around was a 2:08.9 from Mr. C, which again was about 0.6 faster than the lap time put up by Gerardo Del Vea.
I think Derksecchi is definitely going to win because he's the only one with the racing stripe. Therefore, he go faster.
I mean, I understand your orc-like logic. Oh!
No!
Ariel Zatoni off the track there. He's going to lose a spot to Richard Derksecchi and Andy Blade. So Andy Blade is into the top 10. Ariel Zatoni dropping back to 11th position.
Somebody give that boy a breathalyzer.
This might not be a bad idea if we're being completely honest.
That is racist and I approve.
Race had nothing to do with that comment.
Just because he's not from Chile, you assume that he's a drunkard.
You forget the only guy I know from Chile is a drunkard, so that doesn't really work.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying 100% of Chileans are drunk. I'm just saying the only one I know is.
That seems fair.
Well, in fairness, I know his family, so there's some additional Chileans there, but don't really know them.
Do they make a mean sea bass?
What are you, Hasul?
Possibly.
Richard Derksecchi putting the pressure on John Barker now. So Barker's gotten rid of Zatoni via Zatoni's spin out there. But now has to deal with a pair of very fast Canadians coming up on him in Richard Derksecchi and Andy Blade. And in the meantime...
You think Andy just names his kids also Andy Blade and then he can call them Andy Blade 1 and 2 and 3?
I mean, if I was him, I'd name my kids Razor.
That would be a pretty good one, yeah. We got Razor, Rusty, Serrated.
Serrated? this is my daughter, Serrated. I admittedly have a friend whose last name is Power, and she keeps saying that she's going to keep her maiden name. She's going to get, like, her plan in high school, and I hope that she didn't actually go through with this, was to find a dude, get pregnant, and give birth to a son and name him Max.
That's not too bad. Or Electrical.
That's a solid name, but, you know, not necessarily a great plan.
Little hip check.
Richard Derksecchi moving up into 8th place ahead of John Barker with a little bit of a rough hip check there, but nothing terribly untoward.
Also, if she didn't name at least one kid Nuclear, I mean, you've lost out.
That's true. That's
Nuclear, Solar, Hydro.
Nuclear, Hydro. Jesus Christ.
I did know a girl in high school with the last name Power. Unfortunately, her first name was Kamel, but it looked like Camel when you wrote it down. So
I can see that being a thing.
We thought we were being like very encouraging because every time we saw her, we were like Camel Power, and she didn't like it.
I mean, I could definitely see that being the case.
We were just trying to be enthusiastic, be cheerleaders, but no, always negative.
I mean, you know, in fairness, I used to yell at a guy in the hallway, "Homo." So, you know, there's that. Which was his name.
Like,
I would like to defend myself by saying his first name was Ho and last name was Bo. And it's just all
nice.
To it. It's one of the cases where he did, yeah.
Well, I was gonna say, did he drink unfiltered milk?
Probably. I imagine so. And Travis Wall's putting all the pressure on Martin Edmonds, and another guy putting all the pressure is Andy Blade on the attack against John Barker here for 9th place. So Andy tried to come through the field a little bit, and man, are they smoking the tires here on some of these turns. Jeez, there's a lot of smoke coming off of the brakes of these cars.
Well, obviously they should just be not hitting the brakes at all. That's not how you win. You got to go fast, not braking. Come on,
you got to use the brakes though, Byron.
No, you don't.
Just go in the wall.
Have you never seen Tokyo Drift? You don't use brakes. Come
on. They use handbrakes in Tokyo Drift.
That's not even close to true. Possibly
very
it
true.
is. You just got to go sideways. You don't stop.
Tokyo Drift, the character, the movie that gave us Hans, who is actually my favorite character in that whole series.
Han? Yeah, Han's good.
Always eating shit.
Correct.
Why couldn't you be like all the other white boys and fall in love with a Japanese girl? So it looks like for now, Martin Edmonds has held off Travis Wallace, but as this race goes on, one would think that the advantage swings more and more to Travis, who is one of the better drivers when it comes to maintaining his tires, as opposed to Martin, who is arguably the worst driver when it comes to maintaining his tires in the grid. Caleb Gonzalez still has not found a way past Felipe Fajea, so Felipe having a very solid race here for the Division 2 driver. Travis Wallace back on the attack against Martin Edmonds. Battle for fourth going on here. It looks like John Barker has for now held off Andy Blade. That is for 9th position. Not really much going down towards the back of the field where things are starting to get a bit spread out. Notably John Pache, I think, having some problems getting around the track in a competitive manner. He is down in 16th position. Should be mentioned, though, that John Pache will be winning his class in this race. He is the only Division 3 driver here today.
He is clearly the best Division 3 driver that has ever lived.
Not sure if I would go that far, but...
well, maybe you just don't believe in John Pache the way I do.
Heavy shout out to John, though, showing, he's always here, always learning and becoming a better driver, and someday that should take him to the front of the pack, I think.
And if that doesn't work, just run them all off the road.
There is that, too.
Mm-hmm.
FH Cole Motorsports, Andy Blade running in 10th position at the moment. And I'm giving in and running for a beverage.
Go, man, go! While Mike's away, I'm going to say some horribly racist stuff that he's never going to be able to delete from the internet. Maybe I won't do that. Possibly we will just sit here and watch the Peruvian marching powder take himself all the way into 6th place. Perhaps, if Felipe wipes the paella off of the windscreen and goes a little faster, it probably won't happen. Because Felipe, bit fast. Travis Wallace, almost as fast. Just happens to be driving a gray car, and as we all know, gray cars just have less weight to them, so it's easy to go faster that way. Caleb Gonzalez coming in hot and heavy, going in the inside. Wouldn't it be hilarious if race commentators talked like announcers? Or not announcers, auctioneers.
I was going to say, you're going for auctioneers there.
Yeah. Just talk. You have to talk as fast as the cars are going.
That would be a challenge. A legit challenge, that's for sure.
I would find that to be pretty amusing.
Indeed, I know an auctioneer. I should get him to come on and do guest commentary sometime. See what he can do. See what Ernie can do.
How long can he go for? Well, I mean, auctions take a long time. He's got to be able to go for a couple hours, right?
Yeah, he goes for a couple hours, yeah. I mean, the auctions he did were like starting at like 6 p.m. and would go sometimes like 2 in the morning.
Dang.
He would periodically take breaks to kind of poke fun at some members of the audience, though. I think that's key to.
Well, I mean, that's my whole shtick. All I do is take breaks and poke fun of the drivers. So.
Pretty much. Caleb Gonzalez still putting the pressure on. Felipe Fajea has not found a way around him yet. But you can see the speed difference right there. Their last lap times were about 0.6 apart. Caleb was 0.6 faster on that last lap. So all over the back end of Felipe Fajea right now in a battle of Peru versus Portugal. And really, the podiums has been so boring that we haven't really talked about it, but Mr. C leading Gerardo Del Valle by 12 seconds. 8.5 seconds back Fran Machuca, so hopefully Fran manages his fuel better this time, because if you remember, he was the one who didn't take fuel on at his pit stop.
And what is your beverage of choice today, sir?
I have a water. for just pure lubrication purposes.
Grotesque.
And beside it is a bottle of Sleevens.
Oh, yeah. Time to roll up your sleeves, motherfuckers.
The floor stripper has arrived.
Oh, I think I've got you beat on the floor stripper type scenario.
Huh?
I mean, it's 100 proof fucking vodka.
Good point. Good point. Yeah. I don't know. Have you seen it melt linoleum, though?
Well, my teeth aren't really all in the same shape they were.
Because I have seen the Sleevens melt linoleum.
I have not seen that myself, no.
That's how we got rid of our old kitchen floor.
Why am I not surprised?
We're
What, not
Soviets,
enough cocaine left in the fucking house?
Hey.
Dad, I found this big bag of white abrasive powder.
Don't snort it. What?
Yeah, wear your mask.
Jesus, you can barely tell that there's a second car there. Travis Wallace is tucked right up behind Martin Edmonds, looking to make a move. Caleb Gonzalez going a bit wide in the background, so his assault on Felipe Fejea once again hitting a little bit of a stagnant point, and he's coming back at him, though, almost immediately. Jesus. Notably, a couple of invalid laps last time around. Is Ariel Zatoni in the pits? Let's have a quick look at that. If you...
I am displeased.
And indeed, Ariel Zatoni is the first man in the pit lane, making his pit stop. We'll see if he'll rejoin 15th place, I do believe. He'll probably come out ahead of John Pache, who's a little bit far behind, to really factor into how Ariel's race is going right now. There he goes. He's off into the races.
There he goes again on his own. Jigga down, jigga down.
Here he goes again on his own.
Jigga down, jigga down.
Violating the white line there. That's not great.
Listen,
Martin Edmonds all over
is
all over the back in his Odin Kircher 2012 car. All over the back of Travis Wallace, who's gotten back through on Martin. We missed that. So now up into 4th place, Travis Wallace. See if he can drive away, but it doesn't appear like he's going to be... maybe. As we get closer and closer to that first pit stop, though, Martin should be losing pace as his tires should be hurting and probably will put some fresh rubber on come the pit stop. But that last lap, he was only 0.3 of a second slower than Travis, so he still got pace.
Push the pace, punch the face.
Wrong sport.
You say that, but I've seen some incidents.
You've seen Nelson Piquet.
Probably.
And some NASCAR stuff. Some of those NASCAR guys are just idiots, though. They get out of the car while the race is going and go up to a moving car and punch you. What are you doing?
Well, didn't Tony What's-His-Nut run a guy over and kill a guy last year, a year before?
Yeah, he did.
You guys are jerks. Your engines and your carbon monoxide.
If you ever been to a live race event, there are some special people that do hang out there.
Hey, special. I do like the clip of, what was it, like a deer walked out on a track once or something like that and just got obliterated.
Yeah.
I think it was like an F1 fucking race.
Probably that happened at some point, yeah.
And I've seen a couple
Craziest
spectators get on the track.
Yeah, craziest one I had in an F1 race was some English pastor got on the track at Silverstone and was walking in front of the cars holding a sign that was protesting something.
Lol. He probably touches kids. It's okay to run that guy over.
He got tackled pretty good by the security eventually.
Nice. I gotta find that clip. Bill Burr apparently in his last special had a lot to say about the Catholic Church, and he was on some daytime talk show. And they're like, don't you think you're a little hard on the Catholic Church? It's like, don't you think the Catholic Church kind of deserves it? Probably.
In general, I would agree.
Bastards.
There is definitely some unsavory behavior, and this is nothing against Catholics, just stating some facts.
Yep. I mean, you might want to look in. Your management's kind of crap. You might want to look in on that.
Caleb Gonzalez, Felipe made a mistake there coming out of the turn, and Caleb is on the attack like a great white shark. Can he get through? The answer appears to be no for now.
They said they could see my skull.
Also, the great white shark. Oh, Felipe diving into the pit lane, actually, I think. Okay, so Caleb gets a free pass through and is going to try to put the pedal to the metal to come to make the overcut work. Also in the pit lane, anyone else? Not looks like it is just Felipe Fajea joining Ariel Zatoni in the pit lane this time around. See if he comes out ahead of Ariel. I would hope he would.
Life in the pit lane, sure to make you lose your mind.
It's true. Fastest lap last time around was a 2:08.8 by Mr. C, so he just keeps pulling on ahead further. It's just, don't know what to say about it. Andy Blade in a struggle here with John Barker over what is now 8th place, effectively 9th, as Felipe Fajea has removed himself from in front of these guys via his pit stop and has rejoined the race in 13th position, 14th position, pardon me. Wade Hutchinson making a move on him there. And Martin Edmonds cruising once again up behind Travis Wallace. Now, the real danger here for these two is Caleb Gonzalez has been unleashed. And on a charge from the 16th to 6th now, Caleb probably has more left in him. Let's look at the lap time comparison. Caleb last time around driving in. Oh, he invalidated the lap, actually. I don't have a lap time, unfortunately. But I imagine a fair bit faster than that of Martin Edmonds. And that of Travis Wallace. So he is coming for him.
I just imagine the Dalek wandering around the track going, invalidate.
Invalidate. Invalidate. Dale Smith up into 11th place, so he's having a pretty good race here. And Andy Blade still putting the pressure on John Barker. They are coming up behind some potentially lapped traffic, maybe? Are we at that point? I think we're at that point where there's some lapped traffic. Caleb Gonzalez is in the pit. Martin Edmonds is in the pit. Travis Wallace is in the pits. They're all in the pits together.
Those guys are the pits.
Oh, Martin missed his pit box. He missed his pit box. Richard DeRoche in the pit lane as well. That's going to cause Martin...
What does that mean? What does that mean? Like,
So,
I understand what it means physically, but like, what does it mean race-wise?
It means that he had to stop the car back into his pit box and wasted a bunch of time. He's going to lose a spot to Caleb Gonzalez by a long shot. Gonzalez is well out of the pit lane ahead of Martin Edmonds. Travis Wallace is ahead of Caleb, so he is retained 4th practically. But Martin Edmonds has dropped back a spot because he missed his pit box.
Well,
in the meantime,
maybe he ain't fiddle fucking around with the fucking fryer grease.
In the meantime, Mr. C still leading by a long stretch over Gerardo Del Vea, Fran Machuca, John Barker, Andy Blade, Alex Loeffler. The highest ranking man who has been in the pit lane is Travis Wallace, now in 7th place ahead of Caleb Gonzalez. Dale Smith got out ahead of Martin Edmonds. He hasn't pitted yet, but that does mean that his car is between Martin and the guys he actually wants to be fighting with. So that is going to be another problem for the Canadian racer. Felipe Fajea is in 11th place. He's lost out a bit in the whole pit stops. He's about 2 seconds, about 5 seconds behind Martin Edmonds. Richard DeRoche has also been in and out of the pits and is in 12th position.
Completely off topic and random. Have you seen the video clip of the guy who's karaoke singing Tequila?
No.
It's amazing.
I have pressed something on my remote, so if anyone is seeing
Why would you do that?
I apologize. It is gone now, but something must be sitting on my remote somewhere. Honestly, I don't even know where I keep the remote for this thing anymore, because I generally don't use it.
So the clip is basically this dude standing by the bar, and the song Tequila is playing, and then it goes through, like 2 minutes of whatever, and then everybody's supposed to go tequila. So he's literally just standing there waiting for the one word to come up, and then he says it, and then it moves on with the song, and 2-3 more minutes goes by, and he says it again. It's amazing. It's the best karaoke I've ever seen.
Mr. C has gone into the pit lane and slipped back to about 5th place. So race leader is in. Alex Loeffler is in as well. And for the time being, Gerardo Del Vea has become our race leader.
Gerardo. He is muy caliente.
Sure. Martin
Build the
Edmonds
wall.
is a great rival.
Build as many walls as you want. Gerardo. The great Gerardo. He'll go through. No problem.
Speaking of Martin Edmonds, he's up behind Dale Smith putting the pressure on, and we briefly ride on board here with Wayne Hutchinson for some reason.
Leave Dale Smith alone.
Dale Smith under pressure from Martin Edmonds in a battle for what is currently 8th place.
Stop it, Martin, you bully.
He's gotten past for now. Dale Smith yet to pit, of course, so running a little bit artificially high at this point. Still yet to pit. Gerardo Del Vea, Fran Machuca, John Barker, Andy Blade, Dale Smith, Wayne Hutchinson. James Butler may or may not have been in the pit lane. I think he has been in, actually.
I would like to state for the record that I'm also artificially high.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah.
When I say possible, I mean likely. In the meantime, we ride on board with Mr. C as he's up behind Andy Blade. Andy diving for the pit lane there, so Mr. C will go up into 4th position. John Barker next on his list. Honestly, if I'm the guys with Mr. C coming up behind them, I probably honestly just let them through. Fran Machuca, by the way, also in the pit lane. Gerardo Del Vea has continued on for another lap, so he's leading a couple laps here. We have about 39 and a half minutes to go, so there is some time in this pit window. We have still yet to see the race leader come in along with John Barker and Dale Smith.
John Barker, the currently greenest car in existence.
True, because the other one that looks like that is out of the race.
Correct. And in other news, I'm all out of limes. I'm going to have to cut some more.
You're all out of limes. You're so lost without them.
Indeed. I've just begun my 3rd mix to drink. And I'm all out of lime chunks. I'm all out of mix. And all I got left is 100 proof vodka. Once this is done, which I assume I can get this drink all the way across the finish line and then go grab more out of the fridge.
Maybe.
Maybe I'll just put on the beer helmet and start chugging.
Really need to get one of those just for like water bottles when I race.
Yeah, that'd be... Well, you need to get like 2 of those because then you're going to need to catheterize yourself.
Not going to drink that much water.
I don't know.
We ride on board with Andy Blade, who's been in and out of the pit lane, and is right up on the tail of Felipe Fajea after their pit stops have sorted themselves out. Dale Smith has been in and out of the pit lane. Wayne Hutchinson is now the guy kind of out of position, still yet to pit in 10th place. He's ready to go here. We're also waiting the pit stop of race leader Gerardo Del Vea, who is losing a lot of time. Actually, he's in the pits right now. Gerardo Del Vea is in the pit lane. And
he's losing an atrocious amount of time.
That was why.
Currently parked.
The other guy we're waiting to see coming in and out of the pits is John Barker, who's currently running in 3rd place, soon to be 2nd place. In the pit lane comes the green car of John Barker. Indeed, there he is. Gerardo rejoins the track in 2nd place, I imagine. What is his gap to Fran Machuca, though? Fran Machuca made up some ground there through the pit stops, I think. He's actually reasonably close to Gerardo Del Vea. Although it looks like Fran might be in the pit lane. What's going on here? Fran Machuca is like dropping like a stone right now, and I don't know why.
Because he's not going as fast as the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of ground, actually. He's behind Caleb Gonzalez and Travis Wallace now, ahead of Martin Edmonds in 5th place. Something happened there with Fran Machuca. We don't know what it was, though. And we were talking about how he might have been able to maybe put some pressure on Gerardo, who I think went a little bit too long on his tires, but not the case. Should be mentioned, Mr. C just did a new fastest lap of 2:07.888.
888, the number of the, not really the beast, but maybe his cousin?
Maybe. There is someone who's
there
is someone who has a lap time of .666 right now. That's John Barker.
That is stellar. John Barker, best racer on the planet.
The race continues here as we ride on board with Fran Machuca. He is behind Caleb Gonzalez, so he's lost 2 spots off of his pit stop. Travis Wallace up onto the podium now. Caleb Gonzalez having a fantastic race. He's up to 4th place, having started 16th. So having a great day.
Little known fact, if you end with .666 on your timestamp, you are legally entitled to listen to Slayer.
I believe our last guy to pit is Wayne Hutchinson, who currently runs in 10th place. I don't believe he has been into the pit lane yet.
H.R. Hutchins stuff.
And notable loser in the pit stops actually was John Barker, who's kind of dropped a fair ways off after the pit stops. Currently running in 11th place. Oh, someone hit the wall on the way into the pit lane.
That's not supposed to happen.
And, I believe that was Fran Machuca. And he is going all over the place in the pit lane and dropping back like an absolute brick. I don't know what's up with Fran Machuca.
Drunk as fuck.
Let's get a camera on the man. He's coming out of the pit lane now. I don't know why he went into the pits again.
I was gonna say just for fun. I mean,
he comes out behind Wayne Hutchinson, who, as we stated, has yet to pit. So Fran Machuca, who is looking for a surefire podium, some weird things going on right now with the Spanish driver.
He is probably all hopped up on the jamón ibérico.
In the meantime, while we were dealing with that, Caleb Gonzalez has moved on to a podium position ahead of Travis Wallace. We'll see if Travis can make a comeback here. In what is pretty much the only battle really of note right now, Mr. C is now 28 seconds out in front.
It's kind of a waste.
That's more than a second a lap.
I mean, it's not quite Felipe Fijea, like why is anybody else even bothering to race kind of a lead, but it's pretty close.
Should be mentioned, he's just putting up fastest lap after fastest lap. He just did a 2:07.206.
Dang.
New fastest lap of the race.
Fastest lap in history.
His fastest lap is 1.5 seconds faster than Gerardo Del Valla's fastest lap.
That's a bit of a thing.
He is absolutely taking a stick out and beating the rest of the grid with it.
Somebody get that guy an extra 32 pounds in the car.
Travis Wallace putting the pressure on Caleb Gonzalez, trying to make the Peruvian crack.
It's not crack, it's cocaine. God.
Peruvian white. I tell you, I don't have drugs in my locker. Peruvian white baby powder. Tell Esteban that El Lobo Negrao sends his regards. Principal Lewis. The greatest cartoon principal in existence. By a long shot.
Even better than the other one?
Absolutely.
Can you even name another cartoon principal?
Skinner?
Who's that?
Seymour Skinner, Simpsons.
Oh, I don't watch The Simpsons.
Oh, never?
Can't remember ever watching a whole episode.
Interesting. Maybe the first person I've ever talked to that's never watched The Simpsons.
Didn't watch Simpsons, didn't watch Friends. There's a lot of shows.
Like, don't get me wrong, it's become absolute shit in recent years.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a couple friends who were totally obsessed with The Simpsons, so I got to hear about it all the time. So I'm aware of a great deal of The Simpsons, but I never bothered to actually watch it.
Looks like the race may have lost Fran Machuca. He is in the pit lane, not currently doing anything. We'll take a camera down there and have a look.
I'm gonna stick a camera right up his tailpipe, find out what's going on in there.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on there. He's turned the transmission, or he's turned the engine off and is just parked.
Oh, well, I mean, that's the thing. That is definitely a decision to make.
So he has joined Lucas Bolevsky, Eric Friesen, and Joaquin Janju in the DNF category. And Mr. C now leading by over 30 seconds. Travis Wallace trying to put the pressure on Caleb Gonzalez, but he's not yet managed to get past the Peruvian. Who
Crazy
took
how
the
nature
position
do that.
from him a little while ago. Their last lap times were pretty similar. Caleb was about under a tenth faster, 208.472 to 208.516 for Travis Wallace.
I noticed that Caleb Gonzalez is continually closing the gap up to second place because, well, that's how nature be like that sometimes.
A little bit, yeah. This battle for third may become a battle for second before this is done. We still got 29 minutes to go.
Correct.
And things are still going interesting there. Martin Edmonds currently rounding off the top five. Not really fighting with anyone at the moment. Fairly clear of Felipe Fajea, but not particularly close to this fight. Richard DeRoche, Wayne Hutchinson, who I believe is not pitted. It may have just pitted because he's dropping back. No, he's still there. Andy Blade and John Barker, your top 10. Alex Loeffler still running along with Ariel Zatoni, who's very close to him. Dale Smith, James Butler, and John Pacheco are your running cars. 15 cars still running in this race.
Get him, Juanito.
Looks like Andy Blade has picked
charge.
up some damage at some point because according to my timing charts, he has 100% damage. So let's go check that out.
That's a lot. That's a little bit more than a little bit.
Indeed, he's lost the front end. Andy Blade has lost the front splitter, the front lower section. The grille is gone. Significant damage to the Audi of Andy Blade. Let's see if he comes around to get this fixed in the pit lane. I don't know what happened. He wasn't running especially close to anyone, I don't believe.
He's drunk. He's drunk and he hit a fucking deer.
Maybe. His car is very messed up. He's coming up to the pit lane relatively shortly. Let's see if he dodges in for it. Let's see if he can even make the chicane with that much damage to his front end, frankly. Here he goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Newcastle 500, where Andy Blade drinks 500 Newcastles in an entire race.
Indeed. And he's going around again. Andy Blade is going to try and run this thing with no real front end. What was his lap time? It was a 2:23.9.
That's a lot.
It's pretty bad. I would have called him into the pit lane if I was his crew chief, because there's plenty of time left in this race. And we'll keep an eye on his lap times and see what happens, but he's losing 10 seconds a lap.
Maybe he's just sandbagging because he's lost, like he shed a bunch of weight. So obviously he's just going to be faster. That's all there is to that. And so he's just being a nice guy and letting Mr. Hutchin stuff just pass.
I mean, all I know is that the number to Richard DeRoche is growing by the second between the two of them.
Well, he's got a racing stripe. He's obviously going to win. What's wrong with you?
He's in 7th place right now, though.
He's letting people feel secure.
John Barker on the trail of Wayne Hutchinson, who we've not seen come in the pit lane and may not have yet. If he has snuck into the pits, good on him. It's possible he's just going super deep into this race, though.
Was he like, what's the strategy there? Just go for a gas and go, or?
Well, if you can go later and you can get good fuel mileage, it means you have to put less gas in when you go in the pit lane. So less time in the pits, basically, is the idea.
Fair enough.
But losing a spot there to John Barker. Ariel Zatoni now on our screens here. Not particularly sure why. He's catching Alex Loeffler, but isn't putting a particularly large amount of pressure on the German yet. And Wayne Hutchinson is now your focus there in the Scuderia Colonia EV car. If he does not have to pit, he's in a great spot. If he has to pit, I don't think that this is necessarily working out for him.
Is that you, Wayne Hutchinson? Is this me?
Ariel Zatoni putting the pressure on Alex Loeffler. Alex Loeffler not posting up very good lap times at the moment. Losing a lot of ground, actually, to Ariel Zatoni on that lap. We'll have a quick look at the comparison to their lap times that time around. And the answer to that question is not that much, actually. About 0.4 of a second, but it looked like a lot more the way the gap was closing.
I think the question everybody really needs answered out there is Mahler Bill related to Buffalo Bill?
I suspect not.
What about Buffalo Wings?
In the meantime, out in front, stunningly enough, Gerardo is, and I use the term loosely, reeling Mr. C in at about 1/10 of a second a lap, but it's still over 30 seconds.
I think perhaps Mr. Andre Bogdan has got the Mexican supplements for his leg. Push the gas pedal extra hard down.
Maybe. So we were talking about Andy Blade, so it looks like the 2:20 is not his pace. He's running 2:11.7s right now. Means he's only losing about a second a lap to John Barker, but like that's coming down fast.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta wonder if a pit stop would not be the most ill-advised thing on the planet for Mr. Andy Blade right now to fix that car.
Yeah, enough duct tape, it'll be fine. If there's anything I took away from the big-ass marathon race, the 12-hour scenario, enough duct tape, and you just rip out all the wiring out of the front end, you're fine.
That's not wrong.
They were like most of the bumper was gone, and they needed to get, I don't know what they needed to get rid of, but there was this wiring harness that was not letting go. And this one dude just put the gloves on and just started just yanking and ripping and pulling and tearing and just trying to get this weird, like, I guess they just didn't want it to drag or something, I guess. And they just like laced it up with duct tape and let the fucking thing go down the track. I'm like, all right, you go, you fucking bold bastards.
Pretty much. Alex Loeffler is about to lose a spot here to Ariel Zatoni, I think. They were almost side by side there into the first turn. And the pressure is absolutely on right now between the German and the Argentinian.
Well-known allies.
Yes. Well-known allies.
There are many, many fine, upstanding German villages deep in the heart of Argentina. That suddenly miraculously arose sometime around 1944.
My brother bought me for Christmas a book called Hunting the Nazis, and let's just say a lot of it took place in Argentina.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Hunting the Nazis for sport.
I like the bit where there was apparently a Polish Nazi hunter. He had survived a concentration camp.
Oh yeah.
And apparently he seduced one of the Nazi ladies later on to get information on where Adolf Eichmann might be.
Oh, that guy, right? Oh yeah, I remember that guy. There's another one. They were after, what was his name? Klaus Barbie. I was watching this on.
Yeah.
I was watching this on somewhere, probably Netflix. I was like, we're after the Klaus Barbie. I'm like, his name is Barbie? He's a not. Obviously, he'd be a Nazi. Somebody with the last name Barbie, I'd be a prick too.
There wasn't much of a hunt for Klaus Barbie. They kind of knew where he was the whole time.
Yeah, he's a bit of an idiot.
Well, no, he just got a lot of he got amnesty from the American government.
Me too.
And got work with the CIA. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yep.
Ended up dying of cancer while waiting for his official sentencing.
I hope it was dick cancer.
I doubt it was dick cancer, but it might have been. You never know.
If you could wish dick cancer upon anybody, it would be Nazis.
Uh-huh. Oh, bit of a moment there for Ariel Zatoni. He is dropped considerably back from Alex Loeffler now. They both have overtaken Andy Blade. Andy Blade is in the pits. So
Finally.
I feel like Andy Blade made the wrong call here.
I would agree. But then I question Andy Blade all the time.
I feel like my thought here as a strategy man is that if you were going to pit for that damage, you should have done it pretty much immediately instead of carrying on for like 4 or 5 laps with that damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's...
At some point, I know I'm going to get some kind of like weird, vaguely angry fucking private message on Discord. Like, what the fuck you keep saying I'm drunk?
If you look at Andy Blade's car now, the front end is still kind of messed up. They've replaced the front end, but like the driver's side clip appears not to have been attached. So,
Yikes.
It's kind of sprinting off the car right now.
Sir, your bra strap is showing?
Kinda, yeah. He's running behind Mr. C, the race leader for the time being. He's rejoined a lap down in 13th place. So, interesting trials and tribulations for Andy Blade here today, although not as interesting as the race that was had by Fran Machuca. That is for sure.
I hear he makes excellent oil filters. Mike currently gargling with straight sleeve movements.
I know, I was messing around with the control panel.
Don't lie to people. We know you got the crazy straw right in the bottle sleeve.
It would melt the straw.
And that adds to the flavor. We know this. Listen, we understand that you've got a certain, like, you need that taste to get you off. We get it.
Nah, if I'm going to do that,
I'm
going to get like a cinnamon stick and use that as a straw.
That would be ferocious.
Alex Loeffler up on the tail of Wayne Hutchinson now, so if Wayne Hutchinson has a pit stop in his future, it should be pretty soon. If he's planning to go to the end, I mean, that would be a thing. And of course, if he's made a pit stop, it was definitely a very short one, because he sprinted up the field quite a bit. But he sits about 6.8 seconds behind John Barker, and has both Loeffler and Zatoni coming up behind him fairly quickly. He's running a 2:12, which makes him the second slowest car on the grid right now, excluding Andy Blade, who was in the pit lane. And may not have fully recovered, because Andy just put up a 2:16.1 with the repaired car. So,
listen, I'm not really good at math, but he was doing better before.
He was doing 2:09s before.
Did he forget which pedal's the gas?
It's possible.
Did he spill Newcastle Brown all over the rig?
Alex Loeffler has made a move up into 9th place, getting past Wayne Hutchinson. Ariel Zatoni will be the next to take on the Canadian. So we'll see what happens with that. In the meantime, out in front, Mr. C has built his lead up to 33 seconds over Gerardo Del Vea. His gap to Caleb Gonzalez has been a pretty standard, stable 6.2-ish seconds to Caleb Gonzalez. Travis Wallace is 5 seconds back of that. Martin Edmonds is 7 seconds back of that. And then Felipe Fajea. So there's not really any battles going on right now, which is a little bit disappointing. The only two cars close enough together to be per se battling being Loeffler and Hutchinson, but Loeffler recently overtook Hutchinson and Hutchinson's not really running at a pace that suggests he can come back at him, and is probably going to be more worried very shortly about Ariel Zatoni as they complete another lap. That time around, Wayne Hutchinson did a 13.542. Ariel did a 10.174, so about 3.5 seconds faster right now is Ariel Zatoni than Wayne Hutchinson, so I think this might be academic shortly.
You nerds, your academics. All
Yes.
I know is you hit him in the face with the volleyball and he'll go down like a sack of garbage.
It just sounds like my uncle's strategy for making it to high school. Play a lot of murder ball.
Murder ball, pretty good.
I think my mom always had a story from, like, I don't know, middle school, I guess, when, like, everyone's coming out of the gym, like, after a murder ball class, and they're like, oh, like, you know, groaning, like, oh, that was terrible, and bam, the doors slam open, and here comes my uncle, sweat pouring from every pore on his body, and just going, it was a hell of a game! Ah!
My uncle tells a story of a similar scenario where the gym teacher was very tired of the towny kids really picking on the farm kids, because they lived in a small town, but like the kids who lived in town really had a bit of a chip on their shoulder. And he invented a game. I guess it was pretty similar to probably what you guys, or what that game was. And the only object was get the ball over there. And the farm kids just started tossing towny kids like hay bales because they could. And guess who won? Not the towny kids. Like, yeah, that's a cool collar and shorts you got there. Toss. I've had alfalfa bales way more than you, kid. Toss.
We've lost James Butler, so we have down to 14 cars circulating. And Wayne Hutchinson has lost another spot there to Ariel Zatoni. Again, if he does need to pit, now would be the time. He's running at a time where, you know, he would really be able to make a comeback. He's running about, you know, the better part of 2 seconds off of his best lap times. So, you know, definitely doesn't have the pace right now, and might be advised to make a dash into the pit lane. Or, you know what, again, if he can go 14 more minutes like this, he can probably pick up an 11th place finish. So, you know, there is that. Although he is losing about 3 seconds a lap to both Dale Smith and Andy Blade. By the way, Andy Blade has found his pace once again. He just did a 2:09.6. So he's back and kicking it. No new fastest laps in a while from Mr. C, who is running in the mid-208s right now. 35 seconds to the good. Caleb Gonzalez is catching up to Gerardo Del Valle, so we might have a showdown for second place before the end of this race. Last lap saw them... Oh, well, actually, Gerardo just absolutely put up a stonking 208.751. So it looks like he is responding to the pressure being put on by the Peruvian driver.
So that marching powder.
And in the meantime, not really anything else happening on the track right now. It's kind of spread out reasonably far. The closest gap being the one we are looking at right now between Ariel Zatoni and Wayne Hutchinson, about 1.5 seconds. And we ride on board with Mr. C, who is having a dominant display of power for Romania. Currently leading by 35 seconds, losing a little bit of ground right now. His last lap was kind of pedestrian by his standards, but still one of the fastest on the circuit.
I had a sudden mental image of him sitting at a racing rig and having a sudden violent sneeze and just going ass over tea kettle and loses the race. I don't know why. That was just like in my head and very funny. I don't know why I'm not laughing harder.
Things like that have happened before, I'll be honest. Coming across the line there with a 2:08.787 there for the race leader, as he continues to pretty comfortably lead this race. I don't think there's really much of a threat to him at this point. He just needs to nurse the car, make sure he doesn't destroy anything, and bring it on home for a victory.
Just start drifting every corner.
That would be bad for the tires.
Yeah, but hilarious on the replay.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm not sure that that's worth it.
Well, that's where you're wrong. Because it's totally worth it.
Looks like Gerardo Del Valle has really responded to Caleb and has pulled it back out to over 5 seconds over the Peruvian. Although he is coming back at him now. So that could be an interesting point here for the last 11 minutes, is that potential battle for second place.
All this talk of South America makes me want to play Wildlands.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah, I was having a lot of fun playing Wildlands when the computer decided to tell me to eat shit. And then I spent the rest of the week just kind of going, I want to play more Wildlands. I found out that I can customize the outfits of my my AI partners in the group there, because it's a 4-man squad.
Mm-hmm.
I knew it, like, I could totally customize my outfit, but I had no idea you could customize the outfits of the other 3 guys.
Are you sure it's a 4-man squad?
Well, I mean, it's really a 1-man squad with like 3 guys that could revive me if shit goes wrong.
Are you sure you don't need an 18-man fire team?
I would prefer an 18-man fire team. However, not as many people involved as I would like. So I'm going to send you a picture of how I've dressed up my fancy lads. We're essentially the Bandito Backstreet Boys.
I'm going to tell you what the plan is, Byron. You're going to get yourself an 18-man fire team.
Correct. The only reason I'm not dressed up exactly like they are in this picture is because I just killed one of the, or just beat this one guy that unlocked the black cowboy hat, so I had to put the black cowboy hat on. And the only thing you can't see in the picture is that all of my guys, including me, were all smoking cigars at all times. Other than that, we are the Bandito Backstreet Boys, and we will kill every narco we see.
This is terrible. So bad.
It's fantastic. You should definitely look at your phone right now. It's worth it. Totally, just look at your phone right now. Bandito.
Check it out later.
No, look at it now.
I'll check it out later, Wade.
Live.
God damn it.
Do it live.
Check it out later, Wade.
Live.
Wade, what do you know about extreme astral theory?
Not a ton.
Not a ton.
Also, I was totally gonna go into that earlier when you're like, I didn't get a beverage. I'm like, you're not drinking? Look at your phone. Look at your phone. Do it now. I need a live reaction. Everybody in chat, help me bully Mike. Bully Mike. Bully Mike.
I'm looking.
Hooray!
Where did you send this thing?
To your phone. It's a text message.
I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, that's unfortunate. Because it's definitely been sent.
Okay, I haven't gotten it yet.
Well, then do better. You kids in your third world country of Ontario, I don't understand at all.
It's not a third world country. Let's not get started at you. Your freaking city makes us pays one invoice at a time.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're not good at math. Shut up.
No, you are not good at math.
Or are we?
Just
secretly,
experts
giant tax haven.
Experts at making me do more fucking work.
Yeah. One day you're gonna have to tell me like which businesses these are.
No, it's literally the city of Prince George.
Oh, the city of Prince George.
Yeah,
interesting.
The actual municipality.
Oh, then fuck you. We got fucking snowplows to run. Eat shit. Bro, your boy Catamaran, Andre Bogdanovich, and Steenenstein totally blazing the trail all the way out to 30 goddamn 6 or 7 seconds.
36 seconds.
What
yeah.
the shit?
He is absolutely wagging the finger at everybody else here.
He's officially reached Felipe Fejea levels of lead.
Absolute dominance. Caleb Gonzalez is slowly catching up to second place, running about, give or take, 0.7 faster right now, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time. Might have enough time to catch. I don't know if he'll have enough time to pass.
He's on my side. Yes, it is. Just check your phone again.
May as well put the camera on Mr. Gonzalez, as that's about the only real talking point we got going for us right now.
There's a mysterious cloud of white dust coming out of his trunk. We're not sure what that is, but probably just talc, right? For traction and stuff.
Experimental fuel.
Yes, it's the experimental weight shedding technology.
Experimental
Slowly
ballast.
Slowly the car disintegrates over time and we get faster. That's got to be like the next evolution in racing. It's like slowly the car just sort of disintegrates until you just make it across the line.
I'm not actually sure if
shed
that
a ton of weight.
I'm not sure if that would actually be a good idea.
What about nuclear power?
I mean, could be a thing.
We got this one up to 19,000 kilojoules, and we gonna rock it all the way across there, and we're gonna mutate the entire first 3 rows. Everybody going home with an extra finger. Yeehaw!
What are you doing here? I'm here to see the race. You gotta sign this waiver first.
Yeah. Sign this waiver, wear this mask.
The goggles! They do nothing!
Up and at them.
I don't understand why Remir Wolfcastle should get the part. I think the kids would enjoy seeing the original Radio Magda Man. I think we should use George Grant. I keep telling you, he's 76 years old and he's dead. Granted, but I still think it's a good idea.
Zombie radioactive man. Should look at your phone again, see if the picture showed up.
It's not there! I'm looking!
God damn it! Why have you betrayed me? Betrayal!
I have not betrayed you! Never
not
in my
you,
life.
The cellular companies.
Never in my life have I betrayed you. Actually, I did that one time I left you alone with Chase. That
oh,
was,
fuck yeah.
That was, that was a knife in the back.
Why would you do this to me? Alright, I'm gonna send it to you again, but I'm doing it on MSN Messenger. Jesus Christ.
You still use that shit?
No, nobody does.
I'm sure we can find someone who does.
Let's see. Scrolling. There's Mike Magus. Right. Scroll through the food images, find the Bandito Backstreet Boys, and send via Messenger.
There, I got it this time.
What the fuck? Fuck you, cellular telecommunications. See? Bandito Backstreet Boys.
That is pretty awesome.
I made sure that like their whole uniform, like I got a guy all in white, got a guy all in like navy camo, and a guy all in green digital camo, and then there's me in black and green with the black hat. Although
black hat.
I also unlocked a leather jacket, so the green shirt and the vest have been replaced by just a black leather jacket.
Would you say that you are the bad boy of the band?
Indeed I am.
Would you say that you are? Would you say that it is justified to say that you are the funny one of the band?
Yes. I am the funny one, the cute one, the dangerous one, and the dumb one sometimes. I am the one-man band. One-man boy band up in this
Caleb Gonzalez going off the track a little bit there. His challenge towards Gerardo Del Valle, I think,
kind of stalled out.
Probably not really going to come together here, unfortunately.
Come together right now.
Right now.
On the track.
This is still the smallest gap between anyone, and it's about it's over 3 seconds.
Yep.
There's just, there's not really a lot happening on the track right this instant.
Carabenaru Andre Bogdan, currently leading by 41 laps.
34 seconds in metric.
Nope, it's 41 laps. It says right there at the top.
Are you trying to figure out how tall I am? Yes. I'm 4'6". That's 1.5 canes in metric.
Is that from...
It's from House.
Okay, I was gonna say, is that from In Bruges?
House. It's when he meets the midget lady and her daughter, and like the daughter's getting examined by Cameron, and he's like holding his cane, like trying to figure it out.
I always meant to go back and watch like the last 3 seasons.
She just turns and looks at him and is like, "What are you doing? I'm 5'6". That's 1.5 canes in metric." Jesus.
5'6". That's barely human.
I'm trying to figure out how tall is your husband? He's normal size, little over 6 feet tall. Does that turn you on? No, I'm just running about the mechanics of it. He puts me on top of him and spins me around. This is what happens when we don't really have any battles to talk about.
Correct.
It degenerates a lot further.
I noticed that your friend and mine, Andrew, is playing something called R Factor 2, which is clearly an inferior... We need to get that guy on here just to do commentary. I don't care if he plays the game.
Which Andrew are we talking about?
Mr. Random.
Ah, that's Matthew Wheeler.
Oh, my bad. I don't know why.
Not Andrew.
Listen, I work with like 2 guys named Andrew.
That was what was throwing me off. Yeah, I actually should talk to him about that. He doesn't like Raceroom, but I'm sure he would compensate on it.
Well, also, whoever's in charge of the Discord, I need a recipe room, the recipe experience, and then I can post food porn in there, and you'll all really hate me.
Food porn channel. Let's be honest, what it is.
They've already got a food porn channel on a different Discord. I'm trying to get with a theme here. We're doing racing. I wanted like a recipe room or the recipe experience.
We are now on our final lap, so Mr. C is approaching the end of the race, and a dominant race victory here at Suzuka for the Romanian
And suddenly
driver.
a deer runs out on the track and he loses the whole... No, probably not.
To be honest, that's what it would require at this point.
An army of muskrats clogs his filter.
Or like a terrible miscalculation on fuel and he runs out of gas at the line. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it.
Oh, no.
Like, there would be no excuse for that, because with the lead he's got, you could totally just nurse this thing across the line.
Suddenly, 5,000 capybaras arrive and stomp him into the ground.
Your race winner, Mr. C, here at round 2 from Suzuka. Second place, I'm pretty sure, is going to go to Gerardo Del Vea. He's pulled out about a 5.5 second lead over third place.
It says 6.5 on my screen. Oh, going down. Yeah, I can see your weird bookish estimations and stuff.
Gerardo Del Vea in the Pro Handicap EV car coming across the finish line to finish in second position.
Nothing worse than being an amateur handicap.
But he's my bet to probably be championship leader right now.
Champion!
And rounding off the podium is Caleb Gonzalez while Andy Blade destroys the front end of his car once again.
Get him!
Fourth place will go to Travis Wallace.
Good old wall hacks.
Rounding off the top 5, and your top Canadian is Martin Edmonds.
Well, I mean, he's kind of Canadian.
Your friend and mine, the Flying Lizard, Felipe Fejea, coming across the line in 6th position ahead of Richard DeRoche, who, if memory serves, was your pick to win this race because he has the racing stripe.
Fuck yeah, he's going to win. Just wait. Just wait. Everybody else is going to get horrendous penalties. He's going to win. Grande Ricardo, FTW.
John Barker coming across the finish line in 8th position for the green team.
John Barker somehow more British than Andy Blade.
Followed across the line by Germany's Alex Loeffler of 034 Motorsport. And rounding off the top 10 is Ariel Zatoni for Argentina for the Moeller Bill team. Finishing in 11th was Wayne Hutchinson, so, the plan to go late, it worked out for him fairly well, actually. Andy Blade, 12th, John Pachea, 13th. Those are your finishers. We lost Dale Smith late in the race, actually, unfortunately.
No, Dale, why?
In the Bessa Plest car.
Dale, we believed in you the whole way.
We also lost, of course, Lucas Molesky, James Butler, Fran Machuca, Joaquin Janjua, and Eric Friesen. Your fastest lap went to Mr. C, a 2:07.206, which was about 8/10 faster. No one else made it into the 2:07s than anyone else. Next fastest time was a 2:08.050. So that is our action here from Suzuka.
Would like to point out that I was totally correct. The purple guy won.
There you go.